What's up, guys? It's Ben with 2020 election predictions, and today I'm going to look at the Politico election model, their election forecast. This has changed a little bit in the past. Right now, they think the 2020 presidential race leans towards Democrat Joe Biden, and they give us the electoral map in a pretty interesting format, I think. And instead of just giving us the map, which I personally prefer, they allocate each state with the amount of electoral votes, so we don't just see this big sea of red, which we normally see, and it can be a little bit skewed. And before I get into that, just want to tell y'all, please subscribe. I'm going to be doing a giveaway soon, and if you hit the subscribe button, you will be eligible for it. I'll be picking randomly from my group of my subscribers. And if you're already subscribed, I would encourage y'all to hit the bell notification so that anytime I get a video, you can get that first comment and be the first one to see my videos. I'm going to keep on trying to do one every day. So please help me. Please support me by doing that. All right. So as you can see right now, if we add all of this together, we get 268 for the Democrats, and we get a little bit under 200 for the Republicans. So I think we might actually get, I think we get 204 for the Republicans, or 203. Please math check me. That's one thing in doing my research before this video, I completely forgot. But previously Politico had the presidency characterized as a toss-up, which I think it definitely was. But I do agree with the characterization right now that the presidential race leans towards the Democrats. One other change right here that they had is the Senate. They had it as lean towards the Republicans, which I think before the coronavirus outbreak was a very fair consideration. But I will look at that after I look at the presidency right now. So I'm not gonna lie, this is actually looking pretty similar to what Politico had in their 2016 forecast. They had everything pretty similar, except they had Wisconsin as being a lean Democratic state instead of a toss-up right now. But what this model now has is the four toss-ups that are going to matter are North Carolina, Florida, Arizona, and Wisconsin. I do agree that these states are toss-ups right now, and I'm glad that they characterize Ohio and Iowa as lean towards the Republicans, because compared to other models, they sometimes think Iowa and Ohio are toss-ups. I know that the models now have it tied in the margin of error, but these states are going to go to Donald Trump at the end of the day, I believe, unless he screws up royally recently. So when we look at the tipping point states, I definitely think it's going to be either Wisconsin, Arizona, or Florida. Because if Donald Trump wins all four of these states, then he narrowly will win re-election. However, if he loses one of these states and this entire model is still correct, then he loses re-election. So that's why right now Politico has characterized this as a lean towards Joe Biden. If Michigan and Pennsylvania were considered toss-ups, which I think it definitely has the potential to be in the future. They changed Michigan and Pennsylvania to toss-ups. I actually don't know if we have the data on that. But see, those are the two states that they believe that the Democrats are going to flip, at least right now. If these were considered toss-ups, then I think that the presidency would be considered a toss-up. In other models, we've seen that Joe Biden does have an advantage in at least these three states, and some even, the polls have Joe Biden up in North Carolina. I do think come election day, it's going to be a lot closer, and we are going to consider a lot of these states more as like a toss-up. In 2018, everyone had the Democrats up in terms of the polls in Florida, but the Republicans ended up squeaking it out. I think Joe Biden in the Real Clear Politics averages up by about 7 to 8 points in Florida. That's not going to be the reality. If we look at the history, just going back for a long while, Florida is always decided between 1 or 2 points. Even when John McCain got trounced in the electoral college, he only lost Florida by less than 2 points. And we remember famously in the 2000 election, Al Gore versus George W. Bush. I mean, Florida is always kind of, I would maybe even consider it the bellwether state. I mean, in 2000, definitely. But in 2016, I think it was considered the tipping point state for sure. So, okay, let's move on to the Senate. I don't think the House is as interesting this go around. I think the Republicans have the potential to make a few gains in the House, but that's not really going to matter unless they get the majority. But right now, the Republicans are actually down in the generic ballot by over 10 points, and this is more than they were in 2018. So that's definitely something to watch out for. It really only matters who is in the majority because you don't see a lot of people in the House like crossing over to vote. The Senate, however, is going to be very important because like right now, I think we see it that like the Senate really could be split 50-50 or 51-49. I think those are actually the most likely outcomes. If we look at this model, there's only a few things that I disagree with right now. I think this model is being a little bit conservative and actually favoring the Republicans a little bit. So I think Montana right now, and I've said this in past videos, even though I consider this as a tilt GOP if I had to decide, because toss-up is an option, I probably would consider this as a toss-up state right now. And I really don't think anyone at this point has Colorado as a toss-up. I understand that there is the Republican incumbent, but I think that they should use their brains, and they have Alabama as a lean GOP, even though it has a Democratic incumbent. I would actually consider this as a likely GOP, and there's some other things like I would consider Texas as a likely GOP as well. However, I do think Colorado should go in the lean, and I've even had some projections where I have it in the likely Democratic column. And Arizona right now, I think, leans towards the Democrats as well. So that would give us 48 for the Democrats to 49 for the Republicans, and then the only toss-ups being Maine, North Carolina, and Montana. Right now, this has it as a 46 for the Democrats and 50 for the Republicans. So this actually surprises me that they consider as the control of the Senate too close to call, because it's kind of the same thing. So if the according to this model, if the Republicans win 1 out of these 4 seats, then they regain the majority, and that is the same exact thing with the presidency model. If Joe Biden wins 1 out of these 4 states, then he wins the presidency. If Donald Trump runs all of them up, then he wins. So the only way that the Democrats can regain a majority according to this model is if they win all the toss-up states and Joe Biden wins the presidency, because the vice president breaks the tie in the Senate. So that's why I think that right now, I do agree that the Senate is too close to call, but I think that the model actually contradicts what the website is saying. So that is pretty interesting, and I'll be very interested to look at if they change this model. I do agree that Iowa is still a lean GOP state, but some pollsters have put this as a toss-up now, just because some polls have indicated that Joni Ernst has been down in some polls. I think it's still considered a tie in the margin of error, but I don't have a problem with them having Iowa as a lean Republican state. So there you have it. This is my video on the Politico forecast. Please subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, please do the bell notification for more videos coming up. Thanks, guys.